All right, we do have some time to get into the next segment here as we go
We got
into
a new jingle, right?
Hey,
Hey,
you, get into my colon.
who, me? Yeah, you.
Ever since you sent me like the almost finished product and we were kind of talking about it, I laughed my ass off. For those of you that are listening to our new jingle going into the Get Into My Colon segment that we're going to be talking about, I hope that you guys could tell that's from Billy Ocean's Get Out of My Dreams.
Yeah.
At the very
Get
beginning.
out of my dreams and into
It was
my
like,
car.
hey, you, get into my car. And when Greg and I we're talking about, let's do a colonoscopy segment on the show at the end for the end segment. And I, for some reason, just had that song in the back of my head. And I said, Greg, you're probably the only other person that would understand why this would be funny with this. And like within 10 minutes, it seemed like you already had it all chopped up, ready to go.
Yeah, that was my Friday night.
That was hilarious. Well, let's get into a little serious discussion about colonoscopies. All of us that are about the same age, I think now, or it used to be, you had to be 50 years old where your insurance would cover you for colonoscopy. And I think that's changed in the last few years to where now that's dropped down to, depending on your insurance, like 47, and I think even some maybe down to 45. A very important test for people, men and women, as you're approaching 50, to get screened for colon cancer, which is something that's a high percentage of being caught and taken care of early. And if you don't do your colonoscopy check, it can cause you some problems, unneeded problems, because it is easy to do it. But and I'm going to say, because of most men, we're a little more uptight about thinking about the colonoscopy. Have you done this yet?
Yes. Yeah, they switched, like you said. I did mine, I think I was 49, so a couple years ago.
And were you excited to hear that you can go get it done early, or what? Did you stress out?
I don't think I stressed about it. I didn't want to do it, but I know it's like anything. It's not a fun process, but it's also not bad when you think about it. When it's all said and done, it's kind of like, okay. So I wasn't stressed. I was like, oh man, really have to do this? But yeah, it was a couple years ago, I think, I knocked it out.
Well, I had heard that I had this on the horizon of things coming up as I approached the age of 50.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I look forward to. It's something that I actually was kind of anxious about, just knowing it was coming up in a few years. And I started worrying about this early in my 40s for absolutely no reason other than they were putting a tube up your butt. And I think that's the thing that most guys are just like, they're uncomfortable with, and they're just not looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does. It's a pain in the ass, literally. And you just want to, like you said, you just want to get it over with and be done. But it is not that bad. I mean, at the end of the day, to your point, it's not worth stressing over forever, because I think the process of it, though, isn't fun. It once it's over, you're kind of done. You know, I feel like it reminded me like getting a cavity. It's like filled or something. You know, it's not a fun process, but then it's done and you move on. And
well, so this is why we didn't record on Thursday, because I had my colonoscopy Thursday morning, and I just wasn't feeling like I could do a show when I got back. Not because I wasn't feeling good. I was just feeling kind of out of it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't feeling, again, I wasn't feeling bad. I was actually somewhat ecstatic that everything was done. I just didn't feel show ready Thursday night. So Greg and I pushed it to, that's why we're doing it Monday. But this is something that I thought was kind of important for people that are our age, because there's so many people that are anxious about it, that will put it off for no reason other than they're just kind of scared to do it.
Yeah.
And Greg kind of alluded here that it's not that big of a deal. And when you listen to the doctors and the nurses that are kind of prepping you like weeks in advance of what you need to do, it really, trust me, I hate going to the doctors. I will find every excuse not to do anything. Like, I'm terrified of going to the dentist. My doctor's appointments, I didn't do for so many years until I was almost forced because of my blood pressure. And my neighbor, who's an eye doctor, I told him what my blood pressure was reading. He's like, you need to actually go to the doctor. And he was like, to where he looked me in the eye and said, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Messing around with your blood pressure like you're getting recorded, you need to go. So that scared me enough to finally go to the doctor, and that's fine. So I knew that as I approached 50 that I would have to get the colonoscopy. So I kept thinking, okay, every year, I'm just 1 year closer to getting it. Well, I now heard from the insurance that we can get it done, I think at 47 under our insurance. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my motivation to go ahead and get it done was because, as most of you don't know, Greg does, but most of you don't know, my wife last year, she's been battling breast cancer. So we've been going through a lot of the whole cancer stuff this past year, which has been really crazy, a lot of ups and downs and everything, but not to get into a lot of details about that. But there's nothing right now that we can complain about with how she's in recovery post chemotherapy. Everything's is fine. There's nothing that we are going to complain about at all. So that has put in my mind that, you know what, if she can go through all of this, I can certainly knock this out.
Right.
And what I wanted to tell people that are thinking about getting their colonoscopy or putting it off or whatever, take it from me for sure. And Greg too, he said it really wasn't that big of a deal. The worst part of the colonoscopy is the prep that you have to get done the day before.
Prep is the worst.
I'm just going to go through what I had to do, and you can chime in and let me know if that's similar or not. But the day before, you have to kind of quit eating. You can't have any kind of solid foods or anything, which it's worse, or it's not as bad as you think. I got through that fine. Once you're kind of in that mindset and you don't have anything for breakfast, you get through lunch, and all of a sudden your body kind of is just like, yeah, we can do this. It's not a big deal. You have like clear fluids.
Yeah.
I had like chicken broth and some Jello. But
what kind of Jello did you have?
Lime.
You
can't have anything that has red in it.
Oh, okay.
Because that messes up
the dyes or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. What they see in the colon.
Okay.
So my colonoscopy was like 6:40 Thursday morning, which is a great time.
Good call.
So I was like one of the first ones there. I didn't have to worry about, people being delayed before me, which push mine off, and I'm sitting and I'm having to not eat again for all day Thursday. The tools are all
clean and stuff.
Everything's clean, right?
The camera's not dirty.
But about 3:00 the day before on Wednesday, you have to start drinking your, I think this is Colite.
Yeah. Colite,
so did you have to drink a big gallon?
I did. Interesting enough, so my wife has also had one. She had to do that. I was able to I had a shopping list. I was able to go use Gatorade and some other products that literally the person checking me out at Walgreens was like, have fun. I mean, because it's like you basically bought literally it just screams like, yeah, but she had to do both times she's done it, she's had to do what you have, where you get a prescription or whatever.
Yeah.
And she said it tastes awful. Mine wasn't so bad because I basically made the same thing, a concoction out of a huge Gatorade. So it was weird that I was able to put my products together essentially.
Yeah. And so, mine was, there was powder in this.
Yeah.
And then at 3:00 the day before, you just add water all the way to the top.
Yeah.
And taste wise, is it great tasting? No.
But it's a lot.
But it's actually, it's kind of benign in taste. To be honest with you. But the problem is, like Greg's talking about, it's a lot that huge. You have to drink.
Every 10 minutes, right? Or something?
Every 10 to 15 minutes. You're like, this isn't a big deal. Like an 8-ounce glass, and you're trying to do it within 2-hour time frame. You're trying to do 3/4 of this, okay?
Right.
And your first glass is like, oh, this isn't a big deal. I can do this. Well, when you start, you feel like you've drank like 50 glasses and your stomach is so bloated with this. And then all of a sudden you really can't, like the taste is gross and you feel like you're going to throw up. Well, the whole point is to get all of that laxative down in there to where your things start to grumble and you're feeling some movement. You have to make sure that you are at the house.
Yep. Yeah, you're locked down.
You're locked down, and it's best just to tell people you live with, go stay somewhere else for 2 days. Because you're going to get self-conscious a little bit running to and from your bed,
you're
the living room to the bathroom.
Yeah. You're there. You might as well get a show on your phone, start streaming.
If once things get going, you're not going to be sitting watching anything. No. The only thing streaming's coming out of your ass. So as it gets going, you run into the bathroom. We're not going to get into the details of all that, but you're talking, this stuff is really effective.
Yes.
But it lasts for hours after you drink the first 3/4 of it. So by 6, 7 o'clock, supposedly when you've done the 3/4 of it, you're cleaning out your colon, the intestines and stuff. So the only thing that you have to look forward to is you have to do the last third sometime that night. Okay. So in the instructions that they give you, they say you're going to have to, if you're in the morning, if your procedure's in the morning, you have to wake up about, I think 4 to 5 hours before and then finish it off. So like 2:30.
Oh, that's right.
You have a third of this that you have to get up in the middle of the night, drink it. And it's not like you just go back to bed because you're going to shit your sheets. So you're up for a good hour after trying to drink that.
Yeah, it's that honestly is the worst part. I mean, just the whole process, finishing all that stuff. I mean, that is the worst.
And everybody that's within the medical industry and people that are associated with your doctor's office and the colonoscopy place, they all say the prep the day before is the worst. The day of the prep is not. And if you haven't done this before, you're like, oh, bullshit. Because you're still in the back of your head is like, you're going to be laying there with, the gown, your ass is hanging out. And you're like, oh, is my butt all, to be frank with you, I was like, oh my God, what if I shit? When I'm like, because I can't control anything.
Yeah.
Drinking this.
I don't know. For those of you, I went with Brian, so I was able to get a picture. This was him. This was Brian before while he was doing his prep.
That is very accurate of what it's like the night before as you're cleaning out. It's not a fun thing to do, but I will tell you that if you can get through that the next day, the next morning, you get there, your anxiety, if you're anxious, you're going to be anxious over being there in the office and waiting to get in to see the anesthesiologist, the doctor. But here's the cool thing. You're going to be knocked out during the procedure. So if you can train your mind to be like, hey, all of the hard stuff is done while you're at home and getting cleaned out.
True. Yeah. The part at the hospital or doctor is, you don't.
Once you get to the hospital, and hopefully you have good nurses and people around you. Mine were all kind of not necessarily joking, but they were good bedside manner. And I felt a little relaxed.
Yeah.
And I was a little anxious because you don't know what you're getting into. But, when it's your time to go in there, they will you back, the anesthesiologist and the nurse that were in there. It was just the three of us at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And both of them had ties to Mizzou. So we were talking about Mizzou, and the nurse was saying that after this afternoon that she was going to go pick her daughter up at Mizzou. And I was like, oh, great. And so we were kind of talking about Mizzou as I'm laying there and I'm on my side and my butt's sticking out. And you're just like, oh God, can she see my little balls from, because if you're a guy, everything like that, you're thinking like, oh, what if I pass out or if I go under and they're like, oh my God, look how small he is or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That goes, I'm telling you, that goes through every guy's head.
there's like I always think of like the bingo card because like, at my corporate job, we've always joked about bingo cards or in meetings or whatever, but there's a bingo card in the back. Somebody's like, we got this guy we were waiting for somebody to do this, or like have one ball or
right. Jeff is saying there is a vacuum on the camera in case there are leftovers. Brian, did you have to rip ass before they would let you leave? They didn't make you do anything. They were just like, once you're up and you feel good enough to stand up, you get in the wheelchair and then you go to whoever is there to take you home.
Yeah.
But, as I was in the room and I'm talking about Mizzou and everything, and I remember the anesthesiologist puts the thing on your nose. She's like, breathe in. And she asked me something about Mizzou. And all I remember was within 3 seconds, I was like, I'm going under.
Yeah.
And then I was done. I like,
then
you don't remember,
yeah.
you don't see anything, you don't remember anything. And the next thing you wake up and you're in your bed in the recovery area.
Yeah.
And it's done. And then you can go eat whatever you wanted. Like, do you remember like the first thing that you ate after your colonoscopy?
I don't. It's been a bit. I remember feeling like, and Rachel had one recently, and she has to get it more regular than most people for just health stuff. And
I'm sure Rachel's like, I can't believe you're.
I know, but like we're trying to share, make people feel comfortable.
No,
right?
and that's what we're doing. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Greg and Brian, they're the funniest guys on the planet, and Iller and Filthier is nothing but just nonsense stuff. But this is kind of serious, but we're trying to help people out.
But I think it's what I was going to bring up is that everybody reacts differently to anesthesia and things like that. But we both talked about how we like you feel, and Jeff, maybe even Jeff mentioned this to me too, is like when you're done though, you feel guilty about what you're going to put back in.
Yeah.
Because you're so like, it's like when you clean your grill or something. God, this thing looks great. I mean, everything you're cleaned out. So it's like, I can't remember what I ate. I don't remember, but I just remember being starving for sure. But yeah, it's like, I feel like I ate kind of healthy for a couple of days. Like I wanted to like start a good base. Like
I'm glad you mentioned that because I totally forgot. I was thinking that all day Wednesday and Thursday as I was getting through the fasting for the most part.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to take this opportunity to, as I come out of this, start eating a little bit better, which the wife and I are going to do that also. I got to get my cholesterol down, but so after I got done, and you haven't eaten in over probably 36 hours.
Starving.
I had the wife stop at McDonald's and I had a steak, egg, and cheese bagel.
Okay. Yeah.
And I had a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle.
There you go. So you went just right into McDonald's.
I went right to McDonald's. I was like, I've got to have, and I don't know why. It was such a weak moment.
Right.
And I was like, it just sounds so good. So I had that on the way home. Yeah. I probably had 15,000 calories Thursday. It was ridiculous. I had half of a like hoagie sandwich in the afternoon, I think.
Yeah.
Or no, that afternoon I had another burger. I had an actual burger from Freddy's.
There you go.
And then that night,
that's funny.
I ordered a big hoagie sandwich with everything on it. And I'm like, just like Greg was saying, I was like, as good as I was for the last 36 hours, I was like, my colon Thursday night was just like, stop.
What are you doing? Yeah. There's too many people coming in here. Yeah, it's and it like you said, I think you text me or it said like you felt kind of hungover. I think that's the only thing you come out a little. Again, everybody like Rachel struggles with anesthesia, so it's really hard for her to come out of anesthesia. It makes her sick. So hers was different for that reason. But for me, it felt druggy. And then the next day I went with my son to like a car show. I think I did mine on a Friday. Mm-hmm. And then we went and drove into the cities and we just walked around a car show for a little bit. But I had to bail after like 2 hours. My stomach hurt.
Right.
It was like cramping kind of like. But that was, and then it went away. That was like you said, the recovery more than being tired. And I mean, you kind of bounce back. Like they said, you can kind of go back to normal pretty quick. And I don't remember what I ate though. I'm kind of bummed because I know I plowed something. But the key is the earlier in the day, the better.
Yeah. That's a huge key because one of the things is you're sleeping off and you're not paying attention to not eating, which is great because you get it done that first in the morning.
Yeah.
But then also, if you're later in the afternoon, this is what all the colonoscopy people were telling me. If your appointment's later in the afternoon, not all colonoscopy procedures go according to plan, and some of them take longer. So you're pushed each successive one that goes a little bit longer than what it is. So you may have to get there at, let's say 1, but you don't get in till 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're one of the first ones, and I know you can't, those are super popular, so you're booked out months. I lucked out and got it within a week because of a cancellation.
Nice. Yeah, that's the way to do it. And the prep is key. The better the prep. I mean, the more they, you know, it sounds like cheat. It sounds like a lot of people don't fully do the, you know,
they don't drink it all.
Supposed to,
or they'll sneak some food or whatever, and you don't want to do that also, because if they can't get in and see things clearly, and that's what they're in there to do, they're going to have to have you come back, and you're going to have to do it over again. You don't want that.
Yeah.
So, you know, Greg and I we're here to tell you, if you're close to that age, 45, check with your insurance, and if you can get in, get it scheduled, get it done. Let us know how it goes for you. I was super anxious about it. Here's the scary thing though, Greg, and then we'll end the show because we're a little bit long. If all things being equal, and I had waited until I was 50 to where my insurance is like, okay, you can get it done now. And we've said before, insurance has dropped that age because people are getting colon cancer earlier.
Yeah.
But let's just say it was still at 50. Okay. I probably, knowing me, I probably would have put that off a year or two and just dragged my feet because I, just kind of scared. I'll admit I was a little scared of it.
Yeah.
So let's say I get in at 52 probably. Okay. Well, here's the problem. I'm 49 and I got in. And so they found 2 polyps down there that the doctor, when it was all said and done, he's like, look, they're big, but they're he goes, I think they're non-cancerous, but we're going to send them off and find out for sure. He goes, now, if you wait, they could have the potential of turning into cancer.
Right.
So my thing is, okay, if I had that issue now at 49, and if I had waited 3 more years, how stupid is that?
Yeah.
So don't mess around.
Yeah.
If you can get in,
get it done. Yeah, you don't, like you said, and that's just one of those things you just want to rule it out. It's weird. It's just the age, like you said, you hit that age, and it's like time to start doing the checkups.
Jeff enjoyed it so much. It looks like he's had 2 of them.
Yeah,
but I think but here's the thing. Like next time around, I'm not going to look forward to it.
No, but
because I've done it, I'll be like, it's fine, and I'm going to make it a game, in a sense that, okay, I want to be super clean.
Yeah,
I want the doctor to come out and say, "Dang, you did a good job getting all cleaned out."
Want it to sound like when they put in cartoons, like the cloth in the ear, and it goes. Hoo, 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 hoo.
I want to be super clean for my doctor next time, but my thing is, so I have to go back, I think, in 3 years, as opposed to if it was a completely nothing to see, it would have been another 10 years, but I got to go back in 3.
Okay.
And I'm fine with that.
I think I must be 10.
You must be 10 if they didn't.
I know I didn't find anything. There were comments like, I thought it was rude. There were things they put like, I had a nice ass and stuff. So I just thought that, like, I'm like, come on, be professional.
Jeff has to go every 3 years. So Jeff kind of knows what it's all about. And Jeff, I mean, it's not as hard as the first time, right? As far as anxiety, being scared about it. It's not fun prepping. I get that, but it's not, it's not as bad.
I think like anything, when you know what to expect and like you said, I mean, you're out for the worst part. I mean, you're not going to be.
You're not having to perform. You're not the one doing the surgery. You're not the one getting up in front of class. You're sleeping through it. So if you can get to the day of your procedure, you're going to be fine. And all the hard stuff is done at home the night before, the day before.
Yeah.
So get your colonoscopy, men and women, our family, friends. If you guys are 45, check with your insurance. Make sure that they can get it covered. And if they can, don't miss out. Don't delay. Get it done.
Get one on
That's-
Craigslist. Trust me.
Or that might be something Iller and Filthier will start doing. We'll get a
OnlyFans?
van and we'll pull up to everybody's house and get you all cleaned out. Well, another fun episode. Started off with the MFK. Be interesting to see what some people comment on it later on, and then ended it on a little colonoscopy. So I think we had a good show.
Yeah. I think, man, Gardetto can play that saw.
We'll have to talk about that coming up on how that was made. So, Jeff, thanks for hanging out. Everybody else that was around to listen to the show, we appreciate it. Iller and Filthier on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and we will see you all next time.
Peace.